Love at first sight. We've seen it in the movies, we've heard it in the music, but is it a real thing? I don't have the answer, but I have an experience of my own and kind of my own thoughts on it. So, pretty recently, maybe about 8, 9 months ago, let me set the stage for you. I'm leaving the country for the first time. I live in the States, and I was going to the Dominican Republic for my friend's bachelor party. Such a great vacation. But I'm out there in the Dominican Republic. We're at this really nice resort on the beach, and I saw this girl. She had like this pistachio colored sort of tank top thing on, and she had this long dark hair, and she was on the beach kind of like dancing. There was some kind of, I think, dance instructor with maybe about a dozen people, and I saw her, and instantly I was just like, oh my god, like, that's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Bear in mind, I was sitting at the bar not too far away, probably about 8, 9 drinks in already at no later than 11 a.m. So that could have played a part in what I was feeling, but I just kept looking at her, and I don't mean like in a creepy way at all. Like I wasn't staring her down, but you know, she was in my vicinity. I saw her, and I was like blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this girl's a 10 out of 10, no doubt. I even told my friend, I was like, dude, look at that girl right there. She is so perfect, but what am I gonna do? Go talk to her? Like, we're in a different country. She either lives here or she's not from where we're from. And I didn't entertain the idea of talking to her, and I don't regret it, I would say, even as infatuated as I was with her. Because like I just said, odds are she lives nowhere near me. If she's even from the US, it's just something that realistically wouldn't have worked out, right? But the day went on, and I kept thinking about her. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was hoping I would see her again, just because in my mind, I was like, I really thought that was the most attractive girl I've seen in my life. I don't even really remember exactly what she looked like other than what she was wearing and her hair. My memory can be a little fuzzy like that sometimes, but I still just remember how I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I was really blown away. So all that being said, that experience of mine, is that love at first sight? Absolutely not. It was just appreciation, I would call it, for lack of a better word. I was appreciating her beauty. I didn't talk to her. We didn't interact at all. I don't know if she even saw me. Maybe she did. Maybe she thought, wow, look at that guy. No, I doubt it. But nonetheless, this was a one-sided thing. It's not like we interacted. It's not like we talked and we had a great conversation. We didn't talk to each other at all. But when it comes to the phrase love at first sight, that's what I would kind of think of nowadays, is that experience. I feel like the closest you could get to actual love at first sight would be maybe a guy and a girl are at a coffee shop or something. They're not there together. They don't even know each other. But they bump into each other and they exchange, oh, I'm sorry. And they strike up a conversation. They're really getting along well. And, you know, the guy gives her his phone number and they go on a date. They go on a couple more dates and they end up being together for a while. That, I feel like, is the only real example of love at first sight. You can't really love someone that you've never talked to, that you don't have, like, some kind of relationship with. I guess you can have a crush on people or whatever, but if you're just admiring their beauty, then you're not in love with them. You're just, you know, you could be infatuated with them. Like, I mean, it would be a little concerning if, you know, you claim to be in love with somebody that you've never even spoken to. It's probably something going on with you there, which, you know, it probably sucks. That's unfortunate. But the way it exists in the movies and the songs, I'm not going to say it never happens like that, but I feel like it's very rare. Like, I'm sure it's happened probably thousands of times, you know, like the coffee shop example I said before, but I feel like it's a very, very unlikely thing. Girls I've been with or somewhat been with in the past, a lot of them definitely, when I met them for the first time, in my head I'm like, oh yeah, they're pretty good looking. But it wasn't like this instant spark, you know? A question I see people ask on Q&As or podcasts is, do looks really matter? How much do they matter? And the phrase love at first sight kind of implies that sight. You know, look. Like, it doesn't imply, the phrase doesn't go love at first conversation or love at first outing. It's all based on looks. Are looks important? 110%. I believe that no matter what. I know some people, they'll claim to disagree, but they're lying. Now, are looks everything? Absolutely not. If there's let's say that girl from Vacation, let's say I talked to her and we ended up being together. If she had a terrible personality, if she wasn't humble, if she wasn't nice to people, she was just this bad person, I wouldn't be with her. I'd say being a good person, being kind to others, treating people how you want to be treated, I would say it's, more important than looks. But personally, I would need to be with somebody I'm attracted to. That's just how it is. I think anyone could agree, man. I'm just not buying it that, like, people say they would date someone they're not attracted to at all if they had, other qualities that were better. I don't believe it. So what do I think? What is the answer to my question? Is love at first sight real? I don't know. I wouldn't call it a yes or a no. I would say, I feel like the way people perceive quote unquote love at first sight is how it is in the movies or in the songs. I feel like in that sense it probably doesn't exist, but a more real life definition I feel like would be I met this person, I'm attracted to them. It seems like we instantly clicked. We went out on a date, we spent a day together. It worked out and it kept working out and we kept being together. I feel like that is a more worldly way to put it. But what do I know? I'm just a guy talking over gameplay of a 12-year-old Call of Duty game on YouTube. But that is all I've got for you today. If you enjoy, or if you have any points you'd like to add to what I said, or if you agree or disagree, leave a comment below. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.